Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's Sunday night, so it's our usual time to get back in the swing of things and see what's going on with Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners. We're going to take a look at Hut 8 today. We're also going to take a look at the weekly, how the miners did against Bitcoin today. And then tomorrow we'll get into the updates for the miners, how each miner performed. Get them a score, basically come up with the top 5 miners for August. We'll do that tomorrow and see what else happens tomorrow as well. Okay, but let's get into it here. We'll call it pretty quick and easy. As always, you guys know this, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And full disclosure down below that. Hit the like button if you enjoy this type of content, and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. But let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin over the weekend here at least, and how the miners do on Friday, because we didn't do a live stream on Friday. All right. So Bitcoin is up a little bit here on the weekend. It was up on Saturday a little bit. It was up 0.38%. It was up a little bit again on Sunday today. 1.34%, and it's up again now in the Monday hours, I guess you could say, up 0.56. So that's looking pretty good here. If we look at the Bitcoin futures on it, we can see that we may, let's see, where is it at? 55, 185. We are at 55, so we may not have a gap there, which might be good going forward. Now, the miners had a rough day on Friday. Bitcoin was down quite a bit on Friday as well. It was down 3.93% on the day. We weren't as low on the RSI as we were previously here, but we had that huge wick that came down to like 49,050. We bounced off of that, and we got a pretty low RSI on it. Right now, the RSI is still at 34, leading me to believe that maybe there's still a chance that we might come down and actually test this 50,000 mark here before everything is said and done. Now, when that's going to happen, I have no idea. But I'm guessing maybe sometime this month. September is usually a pretty rough month for us anyways. If we look at the returns here on Bitcoin here for the month so far, let's take a look at it, see how it compares to the other months of September historically. And we're down 6.7% so far in September as it is. Historically, we've been down 3%, 7, 7, 13, 5, 7, 19, and 1. So that's within range of what we've been in the past as well. So we may come down a little bit more on it, or we may actually do a reversal here going forward and actually end up in the green here, which would be the same as we saw in 2015 and 2016 as well. Okay, so we'll see how it goes on that one. Miners, like I said, for the most part, were down. The only one that was up was Argo. For some reason, was up just 0.93% on Friday. Everything else was down. Wolf was down 11.5%. That was the one that was down the most, followed by probably DMG here, 9.83%, and BitDeer down 9.5%. Everybody was a little bit better than that, at least. So that's it on that. So let's take a look at Hut 8 here really quick. And we'll get into the weekly stuff, and then we'll get into the Q&A side of things. So Hut 8 provided us with the operational update on Friday, and here's what we have for it for August numbers. This is a quote from Asher Ganut. They're going to be maximizing returns from our current fleet remains our priority while we continue to plan a thoughtful, structured fleet upgrade to next generation ASICs. So I just still have a question on that. When do they actually plan on upgrading? I know that they keep saying that there's newer generation miners coming online, but if you're looking at it that way, there's always going to be newer generation miners coming online. The big thing is getting them as possibly as soon as possible before Bitcoin does start to rip higher, so that way you can reap the rewards of it at that time. If you wait too long, I fear like they might miss the boat a little bit here. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they do. And then, let's see, reactor curtailment software enabled us to mine when profitable and keep energy costs low during what is typically the hottest month of the year. So that's also kind of interesting there. They did curtail quite a bit. We'll take a look at the numbers that I have for them. And it was a lot of curtailment at that point. They do have a lot of older generation miners as well. That's the reason why for it. And then some of the highlights here, advanced commercialization discussions for the Texas Panhandle site in parallel with ongoing engineering and procurement efforts targeting energization in first half of 2025. So that's all good there. Let's see, energized building at Cedarvale during August and remaining on track to bring the remaining 3 buildings online by December. So that's at least good there also. Now, as far as their operating metrics are concerned here, they had total energy capacity under management, 762 megawatts. Let's see here, deployed miners, 179,000. Total hash rate under management was 18.5. So they are managing quite a bit there. Their self-mining was only 58,000 machines. Deployed hash rate was at 5.6 exahash. So, I mean, you're looking at machines that are on average around 99 something per terahash per machine, roughly. on that one. They produced 87 BTC on that. Some footnotes on that, 1 and 9. We'll take a look at those in a second here. And Bitcoin on the balance sheet here was 9,105, so a little bit of an increase from the prior month of July, which was 3 more BTC. And then the managed services side of things, you guys can see that hosting as well. And then I got all their sites listed out here, which is always nice to see what they got going on. But if we look at the footnotes here, number 1 was as of the end of the period. Let's see here, as of the end of the period. That's an interesting footnote there. Number 1, that was on deployed hash rate. So at the end of the period, was at the end of June then? Is that what they're reporting here? Or the reporting period of August, I'm guessing. Maybe that's what they're talking about for it. And then number 9 here was, let's see here, Bitcoin produced net of the 50% share of the King Mountain JV held by Hut 8's joint venture partner was 74 BTC during August and 88 during July. So they got that part of that JV part that they are also in, okay? And that's basically it. So pretty cut and dry, pretty short update from Hut 8 here. Let's take a look at the numbers that I do have here for them. So they have about 91 million shares outstanding right now. Market cap at approximately 819 million. The performance over the last 12 weeks has not been great, but a lot of the miners haven't been great over the last 12 weeks. When we look at the weekly numbers, there is a table in there that shows all of the numbers for all the miners, and I think it's all red right now. So it hasn't been great for any of these miners. Current hash rate 5.6. They were supposed to get to about 7.3, but I think based on the fact that they had a lot of older generation miners, those may not be coming online maybe. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Their HODL is 9,105, like we talked about. That's valued at approximately 515 million right now. And that is 62% of their HODL to market cap. So that's really high, meaning that they're being valued more on their HODL than they are on their operations side of things, at least on their Bitcoin mining. Their other managed services and hosting, maybe they're being valued a little bit, but even then, not much. Okay, monthly BTC production here, down to 87. So that has come way down here from the 453 that they had in December. They're down basically, what is that, 1/5 of where they were before? That's a huge drop. I think that's like the most drop that we've seen here on any of the miners here. Their monthly BTC revenue also dropped about a quarter from where it was at 19.27 million. They're down to 5.2 million here in August. That's a huge drop as well. That's not good. Bitcoin HODL has stayed flat as well. So that's at least somewhat good there. Their hash rate has been kind of all over the place, a roller coaster ride, depending on the months and what they're doing with curtailing and everything else. You can see that for the first couple of months of the year, they were doing pretty good, around 7 exahash or so, but then it fell down to 5.4, 4.4, up to 5, and they've been kind of bouncing around here at that point. Bitcoin sold value or amount 84, kind of in line with what they've been selling here recently in the last couple of months. BTC exahash, really, really inefficient at 13. I can't remember if they come in last or not. That's the other thing, is the numbers for the best Bitcoin miners is done. So the Patreon members will get that later on tonight when I do upload this spreadsheet and everything else to them. They will actually get to see those numbers for that. And then BTC sold value, how much they've been selling here. Last 4 quarters, actually I only have the last 2 quarters after they merged with USBTC. So their revenue is down, and it looks like it's going to be down some more here based on what they're mining here for self-mining. Last 4 quarters minus depreciation has come down, so that was at least good there. Other metrics here, cost to mine 1 Bitcoin, 43,000 in Q2. But we already covered that. I'm not going to get into this. Why am I going into it anyways? Good thing here, institutions. Institutions increased quite a bit here. 231 institutions now compared to 173 the month prior. Shares also increased quite nicely to 54 million owned by institutions, and now percentage owned is 59% by institutions. We also have 3 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sell, 22 for the high, 1608 for the average, and 1350 for the low. So those have all improved on the average and the low, at least on them. And then what do we have them mining here in August? I had them mining for approximately 18 days here to get to the 4.4 million here in revenue that they generated on that. So not great. Not great at all. They definitely need to, I don't know why they're waiting to get newer machines in there as fast as possible right now. But that is what it is right now with them. Based on all the information that we do have here, they're at $9 as of Friday. I have them between 632 and 948. I think they're kind of fairly valued right now as it is. And that's just based on their self-mining, does not include any of the managed hosting or managed services or the hosting part of it as well. which those do bring in some revenue, but not as much as typically Bitcoin mining would bring in. But they're, so it's tough. The stock had a nice run up here. I think that is because Co2 invested in them, about 150 million or so, and that gave maybe some credence that they might have some good opportunities in the HPC AI business going forward. We'll see if anything out of that materializes or not. But if we look at the numbers that we have here for August, multiplying it times 12 to get the revenue potential, right? If everything stayed the same, I would only have them at like $2.92 to $4.38. At that point, that would mean that they are way overvalued on that alone, for me at least. Okay, so Hut 8 is in a tricky position right now. They have a healthy balance sheet, a lot of HODL. They could use it for some good to get some machines. They're holding off on it. We'll see how much longer they hold on it. So that's it for Hut 8. We'll see how they do going forward. And I mean, yeah, well, they're still at the 5. I mean, 5 exahash was like my cutoff mark for the miners that I cover, ending at the end of this year. So they might still be around next year as well, especially if they actually buy some machines and increase their hash rate a little bit. All right, so that's it on Hut 8. Let's take a look at the weekly numbers here. While we're at it, we'll take a look at the market cap of the miners right here. Here's how everybody stacks up right now. Marathon's still the top one, followed by CORZ. CORZ overtook Cleanspark here recently, and Cleanspark's pretty close to Riot too also. So those two are down quite a bit, and then you can see how everybody else stacks up after that. If we look at the weekly, let's go look at the weekly here. So the weekly is what we normally look at the end of the week on Sundays. So we're looking at how high the miners have gone up from the 52-week lows here, and then how far away they are from the 52-week highs. So TeraWulf has been the outperforming one here recently, 319% up from its 52-week lows, and that is based on the simple fact that there's a couple investors that invested in them, and institutions as well, and that there might be a possibility for a sizable HPC play. I think that's why the stock is up, because if you look at their operations as far as mining is, they wouldn't be up this far, I wouldn't think at least. Okay, CORZ, same thing, 257. We know that CORZ has a great deal with CoreWeave that's going to be happening for them sometime next year, and that's so I would expect that to happen, especially with CORZ. Cleanspark's up 139%, IREN up 130%, Bitcoin's only up 116%. So those guys have outperformed Bitcoin at least a little bit, or some part by like 3x. And then everybody else down this list has underperformed. So BitDeer, Bitfarms, Marathon, Hut 8, BitDigital, Cypher, Hive, and Riot is only up 0.4% from the 52-week lows that it's had. So it has continued to be one of the worst performer here in the last 52 weeks, unfortunately for Riot. And then you can see how far away they are from their 52-week highs where they were before. Okay, now looking at the weekly numbers here, if we look at the 1 week, we can see Bitcoin's down only 9% on the week. Everybody else has done worse than that. CORZ down 10, Hut is down 11, TeraWulf down 14, Riot down 15, BitDeer down 17, Bitfarms, Hive as well, IREN, Marathon, Cypher, BitDigital, Cleanspark's down the most, 24%, and that is given because of their increasing number of shares from 300 million to 600 million, so everybody panics when that happens. Okay, going down here, you can see here on the last 12 weeks, everybody is in the red now on that one. So it's been a tough 12 weeks for the miners. Eventually, I think it will reverse. I just don't know exactly when. We're expecting October and November to be much better months for the miners, but we'll see. It could be just a different cycle altogether this time. It's already been a little bit of a different cycle as we've talked before. We've had the new all-time high on Bitcoin before the halving event, which has never happened. So we'll have to see how that goes. And then here's the weekly numbers for all these guys. So got 2 weeks of full on red. It's been brutal here. We had 1 good week of greens here, and then we had kind of mix of green and red, more red here a week. So I mean, you can see how that all shapes up, going back to October of last year, it looks like, or November. Okay. So that is it. As always, we'll see how the miners continue to do going forward. We need Bitcoin to go up. Eventually, I think it will go up. I just don't know exactly when that will be. So Patreon members, thank you to all you guys there for this continued support. And if you want to get access to this spreadsheets and all this data that I have on the miners, the link for that is down in the description of each video. It's $8 a month. You might be able to find a couple spots that are still open in the $5 or $4 range, and you have access to the same things as everybody else. And plus, you get access to a private Discord server that we have also. All right, so that's it. Let's get into you guys' Q&A side of things here, see if you guys have any questions or not. And we'll call it a day, so it should be pretty easy. All right, here we go. Let's get into the swing of things, see where things are stacking up with everybody here. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Toby asks, will Riot ever see $12 again? Yeah, I think so. Once Bitcoin starts going up, they should go back up as well. Let's see. Was anybody around here buying during this time 4 years ago? How was it? I wasn't. However, I think the same will happen. BTC will move quick and fast, and these miners are going to move up even faster. I was around back then. I was only investing in Hive at that point. This was back in 2020, right? And yeah, we were seeing this kind of same thing happening, especially after the halving in 2020. We saw the same kind of action, which we're kind of seeing right now. Bitcoin didn't start moving up until like September, October timeframe again, and then we kind of came back down a little bit, then went back up in 2021. We peaked in, what was it, April at 63,000 of 2021, went down, and then we peaked again in, what was it, November, I think, at 69,000 at that point. So yeah, it's looking similar to the way it was before. The Des Market Stats says I started investing in November of last year, so I wasn't aware of September. Yeah, for September, yeah. Let's see here. But since I started using the wheel strategy, I'm still making a profit on my miner investment. Okay, nice. Let's see. Michael says I bought a lot of Riot last Friday. Okay. What else we got here? Ethan says, oh, well, those figures are terrible. Yeah, they don't look good. Let's see here. Victor C asks, question, will the Trump debate on Tuesday have any impact on Bitcoin? I don't know, depending on what they talk about, and if they talk about Bitcoin on there, maybe it would. We'll see. Christian says, probably if he loses it, maybe bad. I don't know. I keep saying this before. We've had Republicans and Democrats over the last 12 years in the White House, and Bitcoin has done what it's going to do. I don't know if it has much of an impact. Yes, the Democrats have been more attacking Bitcoin, I think, but Bitcoin still held its own. So I don't know. Let's see. What will Bitfarms need to get HPC AI before the peak of the cycle? If Bitfarm has HPC AI now, how much will the stock price multiply at 2 times or more? I think Ben has said that the Pennsylvania site is a possibility for HPC AI. And that might not be until 2026, I think he said, that they could possibly get something there, because you need to build out or you need to retrofit, whatever it might be. So it's going to take time. Let's see. Did you see Tom Dell's tweet about Bitcoin? I did not, no. Let's see. I can't pronounce your name, so let me see. Your BTC when moon? Next year sometime. Probably around, we're guessing September, October, November timeframe, maybe. See, Bitfarms sort of waiting to see the landscape. They won't enter AI HPC in a rush. Yeah. Let's see. If there is an agreement and Riot buys Bitfarms, I don't think there's going to be an agreement. Nonetheless, Riot's willing to pay like $5 or $7, if not more, for Bitfarms at that point. Let's see. DK says, McNally recently said that Cypher has experience building data centers, implying that it might give them an advantage in securing HPC customer. Can you elaborate on that experience? I know that they're... how much experience do they actually have, though, building out data centers? I mean, is it like building out tier 3 data centers? I would like to know what they have done in the past before they were a Bitcoin mining company. I don't think they... I mean, Cypher was started out by Bitfury. So I'm not sure. Maybe there is some experience there. Hank the Tank says, last week I loaded up on Cleanspark, IREN, and bought some Mara and added to my BTC position. I wish I had more cash. Well, thank you, Seb. Yeah, I bought a little bit last week too on Tuesday. Probably should have waited a couple more days. Probably could have bought more at a lower price at that point. Let's see. Ethan says, question, forgot share price. Which miners do you see executing well over the coming months with higher energy prices? Where are you seeing the higher energy prices on miners? A lot of them I know are getting spot, but a lot of them also have good contracts in place. Cypher is like 2 something. TerraWolf is at like 3 something all in, I think. Those guys have really good, and other companies also have, but I haven't seen anything that's going to be going up a lot. Do you think Bitfarms can get rid of Riot at the end of the year? Possibly. The important part is going to be the shareholder meeting that's going to happen in October. I think it's the 29th. That's going to be a vote on getting the Riot appointed, or the board members that they want to appoint to it, to Bitfarms. If that gets nixed, where basically people don't vote in favor of it, then maybe at that point Riot might say, okay, enough is enough. We're going to walk away. But we'll see. Hank the Tank says, I'm expecting great updates from IREN. I think they will easily hit their monthly and quarterly targets. I'm also thinking the same thing, yeah. How do you feel about taking a personal loan at 10% to load up on miners? No, I will not take out a loan. Only put in the money that you're okay with basically possibly losing on, but I wouldn't take out a loan. I would never recommend that to anybody. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Is Bitfarms a buy now or IREN? Both, actually. I was buying both last week. Is Bitfarms done diluting? They've been hodling more Bitcoin. I don't think so. They're done diluting yet. They're fully funded to 21 exahash, but they have more growth plans going into next year as well. They're going to have to dilute more. So I don't know if they're it's hard to tell if they're diluting right now. They might be. They might not be. I don't know at that point. Okay. Let's see. And I think we're caught up to all you guys' questions. So really, really easy. Tomorrow we'll get into on the miners, comparing them to August production numbers for them. And let's see, I got a couple more things coming in here. I just saw a couple of things pop up. Let's see. Why isn't that popping up over here? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Last question here of the night. Which one is better deal, Bitfarms or IREN? I think Bitfarms is a little bit more undervalued right now compared to IREN, but we have Riot on their back. So, I mean, IREN, I think, is more of a sure thing, whereas Bitfarms might be more of a little bit, how do I put it? More of a long bet on it, a little bit on that one, right? And then Ethan asks, which is the best value miners right now in your opinion? I think Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, Core. Who else was in there? Those four, right? Cleanspark, Bitfarms, IREN, Core. Was there another one? I'm trying to think who else. Cypher doesn't have much growth left this year. I mean, they're getting to 13x, that's potentially more growth next year. TeraWolf, we don't know about their growth going forward. They're also looking to get into HPC AI. I mean, I don't know. It could be any of the other miners too. Also, you could have Cypher or like TeraWolf come out with a news that they have a deal with HPC customer, something like that, and the stock just takes off. It's hard to predict that happening. If you're looking at just at straight, simple Bitcoin miners, then like the four that I mentioned are probably the best ones. Marathon also in there. Riot, if they can fix their operations also. Those are some things to look into. I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Next year, recession maybe end of 2024. The pick around 104K for this top cycle, I guess, looks scary. I still don't think we're going to have a recession. I think it's not going to be until sometime in 2025, potentially. Thank you, Sebastian. Have a great night, you too, buddy. Let's see. Who you got, Ryans or Lambs? I'm going to go with the Rams on this one, maybe. Well, Lions were really good last year, too, though. So maybe I'll go with the Lions. Okay. All right. Ethan says, thank you for your answers. What are your favorite sports or sports teams? In the past, I was really big into basketball when I was in high school. Then I kind of got out of it a little bit. Life took on its own challenges. Got out of that. And then recently here within the last probably 5-7 years, I got into football. And so that would be the Bears at that point. Let's see. Food and Fun says IREN going to beat all of them in 12 weeks. Potentially. They have a lot of growth going forward. Chris says Riot will never pay $5 or $7 for Bitfarm junk. That's why they might not be able to buy them. We may pay max 3. 3 is going to be too low. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think I've caught up. Let me see. Oh, I got one more question from Victor C coming in here. Let's see. Question, what is the average buy price for Mara Bitcoin? I mean, their stash. Thanks. Well, it's got to be in the high 50s, I think, right? Somewhere around there. They've just recently bought those. So it's got to be in the high 50s, I think. 50s, low 60s maybe, depending when they got into it. Yeah, I still don't know why they're buying it. Okay, maybe they're changing their strategy a little bit. Maybe they want to become like MicroStrategy, maybe. But if you can mine it at a much lower cost, why would you buy it? That's the way I look at it. But maybe it might work out for them. Let's see if I have anything else. Let's see. Seb, do you think miners won't hit as high as all-time high gains as prior cycles because now investors no longer need a BTC proxy because they have IBTC, BTC ETFs? Good question. I think the miners still provide a better like a leverage play on Bitcoin than the ETFs themselves. People that are in the ETFs already would not be buying the miners in the past anyways, or now. I don't think that's the case for them. So as long as Bitcoin goes to, I think, 150,000, 200,000, somewhere around there, a lot of these miners might reach or surpass their previous all-time highs. Just because their hash rate is so much more, they're generating so much more revenue at that point. That's kind of the way I would look at it. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we got anything else. You guys are debating it over here at Riot. Yeah, try to keep it cordial, guys. Let's see. What else we got here? Yeah, you guys are talking about Riot. Okay. Let's see. And then let's see your space credits. Thanks, Seb. I can't answer that question myself. I'm seeing institutions buy up ETFs, and I know they are miners, but the proxy is no longer there. Well, right now it's not there, right? But we need Bitcoin to go up. I think that's what we really need to happen for the miners to then go up in much, much higher value. Let's see. Would be great to have price update target for high cycle moments. We'll do that probably later on this month. I'll pull in the data again. Is coin a good buy apart from the miners? Yeah, when Bitcoin's going up, it's a great buy. When Bitcoin's going down, it's not a great buy. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to call it a day. You guys are talking about Riot, and you guys are getting a little fiery there. Let's see. Yeah, we'll call it a day. I'm going to go relax a little bit before I have to go to work tomorrow. And we'll see what happens tomorrow with the miners. I mean, Bitcoin's right now, where's Bitcoin at right now? It's up a little bit. It's up 0.32% or something like that. So it's not that bad. We'll see where it goes tomorrow. All right. As always, thank you guys for coming in. Love you all. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.